Well, they did away with the big money shows for many, many years, but tentatively they started to come back. Quite a few years ago, there was a show on Fox where you could win up to $1 million, but you had to give certain answers in a certain amount of time. This didn't last too long. And then, of course, they started to bring in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But it took many, many years till the so called big money game shows came back again. Let me tell you a funny incident. Several years ago, 21 came back and lasted for a very short time. And the MC, who I don't consider to be a very great MC, was Maury Povich. I got a call from Fred Silverman, or his assistant, and they wanted me to know whether I would consider coming back on the show again. And I said I would think it over. Then happened to be an honest person, and I got an interview. The New York Post called me, and they asked me what I thought of the show, and I had watched it, and frankly, it was putrid. And I came out and I said, it's not a very, very good show. Needless to say, I never heard from Hollywood again. They never called me again. A friend of mine who I work with at the Department of Transportation, who's the permit supervisor, told me they were having tryouts for Jeopardy in Atlantic City. So in February, I forget exactly, I believe it was 95, I went down there with my wife and I took the preliminary test, which I did fairly well on, and they told me to come back next month. I came back in March. They had 50 answers, and you would have to supply the 50 questions. They showed you Alex Trebek on the monitor, and I believe I had 48 right out of the 50. At any rate, I walked in there, and a fellow walked over to me, and he said, I can't believe it. Let me shake your hand of a living legend, but I knew I wasn't going to make it when the following happened. They hand me an application form, and it says name, address. This was after you actually took the test part, and it said, have you ever been on a game show before? And I had to put down, yes, 1956, 21. I knew I was going to be a dead pigeon after that. At any rate, they test you as far as the buzzer is concerned, and they want to see who's fast on the buzzer. Well, I met two fellows down there. They had been trying to get on for 7 years. And finally, they made it and got on. And they went out to California to be taped. One of them made $19,000, and his friend made $19,200. And this Brian Flanagan told me, he mentioned the fact they had met me at Atlantic City, and he said one of the producers on Jeopardy said, we're never going to have that guy on this show. And so I just shrugged my shoulders. It's another little episode in my life. What can I say? But he was very vehement about it, according to what Brian told me. But I did try out for Jeopardy in 1995.